Hey guys, Rocky here. Just want to show you the next project I got on the go. Just occurred to me yesterday that this is something I might want to do. I've been sitting over at the computer over there doing a lot of work and finding that it's very cold on the feet over there. And I'm using that heater you see down there at the bottom left to try to keep my feet warm, but it doesn't really work so well. The legs get too hot and the feet kind of get warm, but I realized that that's the cold section of the garage over there, underneath the bench, up against the walls. There's nothing on the other side of the wall except cold air. So I figured, well, what can I do? I got to do something to make it more comfortable. And I got looking and realizing, well, the heater is over on this side. We got that big heater up there, and it blows the air down on this side. So I was thinking if I had a desk over here, maybe I'd be a little better off with my feet, at least. And I had a lot of junk over here, not really a lot of room to put anything, and I thought, well, what can I do? And I got looking at what I had here and realizing that it could actually be jockeyed around enough to make some room to put a desk on this side. So I cleaned a few things out, and my first thought was to, clean a few things out and maybe bring this bench over here. This is on wheels, and put a top on it and use it for a desk. This guy here. But then, as the more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, I realized that there was a better solution. And the better solution is that I could still jockey some things around a little more. I've got this cabinet that came with my toolbox. This big, tall, red cabinet here. It's a little over 4 feet, 4.5 feet or so. And really, I don't use it for a whole lot. It's meant to be like a locker to put, when you're in a garage, working in the garage or whatever, or even garage like this, you put your coveralls and stuff in there and hang them out, right? And I do have a pair of coveralls in there, and I do have some other junk in there. Basically, all I did was, just tucked it full of junk. I mean, really, that stuff never goes anywhere. It just stays where it is. Well, that stuff could be put someplace else. And I could take this cabinet, and what I got in mind is flipping it vertically. So then instead of standing up like that, it's basically laying on this flat surface. Not really laying on that. What I want to do is I want to pick it up and I want to attach it to the wall right there. Once it's attached to the wall there, I have the internal section of it to use for storage. Plus I have the much more room to use the top, what will be the top section as storage as well. I can put stuff on top of it like a shelf. I mean, right now it's got a little space on top, but it's very limited. I've got it crammed, as you can see, and it's just not adequate. So if I hang that on the wall and I hang it horizontally, yeah, I believe that's right, horizontally, crossways this way on the wall, then I should be able to have kind of a dual purpose with it. Like I said, I can use it for top of it for shelf, and I can use the internals of it as a shelf with a door to close things up. Things I want to hide out of sight or just whatever. It's perfect. It's not that heavy, and as long as I use some lag bolts, probably 4 or 6 lag bolts, and some good sized washers so that the lag bolts don't pull through the metal. I mean, the metal's not that heavy. It's fairly thin gauge. But if I put a lot of weight in it, at the thin gauge, it could potentially tear it off the wall if I don't mount it correctly. So I got to make sure I do a good job there. I might even put a couple of pieces of 2x4 on the bottom as L shapes as a little bit of support if it seems necessary. I'm not sure if it's going to be necessary. But once I do that, I also gain a little more floor space. And what I want to do is I want to build. I've got enough 2x4s in there. I'm going to actually build myself a workbench or a computer desk, whatever you want to call it. Kind of a dual purpose. I'm trying to make it strong enough to work as a workbench, but at the same time try to have some storage underneath on right and left side of it. The middle obviously has got to be open for the knees to go under if you slide in with a chair and you want to use your computer or whatever. So I've got enough lumber in there to do that, and I'll probably start that right about here and then run it over all the way across to about here. So we're looking at about 7 to 7.5 feet, so 7 foot 6 inch or so. And the reason I would want to go that distance is because I do have an old computer desk in there that was L-shaped, and there's 2 tops on that. It's no longer really of any use. We just got stuff piled on it downstairs, and the framework is starting to let go on it. It's pretty shoddy right now. So I'm just going to pull the tops off of that. And when I put the 2 tops together and measure them, they come up to, I think it's 7 foot 4 inches or 7 foot 6 inches. So I mean, put those 2 together, we got a perfect top on a nice bench or a computer stand, whatever you want to call it. that'll give us plenty of space for whatever we want. It'll be much better use of the space than what I had before. I just had stuff stuck in there, crammed in there wherever I could get it to just get it out of the way, and no opportunity to put anything up off the floor. So this way we'll be able to use the floor underneath, or shelves underneath, whatever you want to call it, and the top, and the cabinet on top as well for storage space. It'll be much better. As you can see, I got kind of makeshift shelves over there and a lot of stuff setting up on there. It doesn't look very good. I mean, it works. It gets things up off the floor, but it'd be much nicer to have you know, a cabinet that actually closes up with the door on it like that. Now I'll probably hang that with this side up. That way when the door opens, the door will just hang down, because otherwise you'd be, you know, opening the door and there's no prop rods, and every time you let go of the door, it's going to drop down again. So I'd have to rig up some sort of a prop rod. I think I prefer to be able to open it and just have it come back and hang down. I think it'll do that. Yeah, it would. It would just come back and hang down. Obviously, it'll open all the way up. So that'll work pretty good for a cabinet up there, I think. It has a lock on it, so you know, if the door won't stay closed, I can use the key to latch it. But it's got a pretty good latch, so it should stay closed. I think that's all right. So the first order of things would be to clean everything out of there. And I've got lots of room downstairs in the lower section of the basement to put this stuff. I mean, it's just a couple of bags of salt, a pair of coveralls, and I think there's a cover there for a motorcycle canvas cover, whatever you want to call it, tarp, something like that. And that's pretty much all that's in there. So if I take that downstairs, it'll take me probably maybe less than 5 minutes to clean that out, then just take the stuff off the top, take all that off of there. Then I could start to retrofit it on the wall. I figure out where it's got to go on the wall, drill the holes it's got to be drilled. I'm going to have to drill holes in the back of it where bolts are going to go through, leg bolts. I do believe I have a pack of leg bolts here somewhere. I noticed the other day that leg bolts that I haven't used for anything. Somewhere in one of these bags, I'll find them again. Just got to take a little look around. And they're pretty hefty leg bolts too, so they should do the trick. And I've also got a little container of washers, various sized washers, some of them with some pretty good sized holes in them, pretty good, decent sized washers, probably an inch to an inch and a quarter in diameter, or not diameter, radius, no, diameter, I guess that's right, center from one side to the other. And I can use those to go in behind the leg bolts, and I'll drill pilot holes in into the studs to make sure that the leg bolts don't split the studs, because they're pretty good sized leg bolts. And I would say, you know, 4 to 6 of those leg bolts will do the trick. So without further ado, I think that I'll get to it, and when I get started and have some progress, I'll show you what I've done.